This is Rene Rodriguez,
This is Ryan Rodriguez.
and this is the AudioPepper Podcast Network. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rene Rodriguez again, and this is my boy with me.
Ryan Rodriguez.
And this is an introductory to the podcast that we've got coming out here pretty soon. This isn't episode one just yet. This is me just testing out our equipment, getting a feel for it, and yeah. So I'm here with my son, Ryan. We're currently working on a project of his for school, the phases of the moon, painting and sculpting, and a bunch of that good noise, but we're taking a break from that right now. Ryan, have you got something to say?
Not really.
You've got nothing to say, but we're on here on the podcast. Come on, dude. You got to say something.
Well, what was the topic of this?
And just say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone.
So at the beginning of the podcast, you heard our song 1985. We'll talk about that. That we give Ryan a topic of something to talk about. So the song 1985. Ryan, what do we do when I'm home on the weekends before we go back to work or before I go back to work?
So every Sunday, but like an hour before my dad leaves, we go into the music room, jam out, and whatever he's playing, he plays it first, and then after I get to hear like a I don't know like a tune of it before I play, I listen to it, and then after I'm done listening to it, he starts it all over. I know when to start, and I pick a perfect place when to start.
By picking a perfect place, he's talking about how he plays his drums. So I'm on guitar and he's on drums, and we just jam out on Sundays. And that's how 1985 came about. It came out of one of our jam sessions. And with that jam session, I came up with that guitar lick at the beginning. Very sounds nothing like it, but very reminiscent of to us at least today by the Smashing Pumpkins, right?
Yeah,
And we just felt like the way that guitar lick comes in and then the power chords come in. It just reminded us of the Smashing Pumpkins to some extent. The song sounds nothing like it. We're just talking about the style that the song came into, and yeah, a lot of people for a while didn't believe that was Ryan playing drums until they see him live, and they see him playing his drums, and he's pretty good at that stuff. He's a little natural. He did go to school, Soundstage 9, with his instructor Brian Carvajal, and he learned a lot from Brian for sure, right?
yeah, I did.
What types of stuff did Brian teach you?
He told he taught me we would go on different tempos and basically so I could get faster. So he would start at 85 per
Beats per minute?
per minute, and that's what I started on, and then it would go up so I could get faster and faster.
Nice, nice. Yeah, Brian's a hell of a good instructor. And so as far as the song goes, again, we thought it kind of reminded us of the Smashing Pumpkins, one of our all-time favorite bands. Something I grew up into, and I'm glad I introduced that to my boy Ryan here. And before we had a name for the song, when we went into Darkside Studios to record with our producer Anthony, the code name for the song before we had a title was 1985, which ultimately became the title for it. And that title came out of again in tribute to the Smashing Pumpkins, their song 1979. I figured rather than have a topic right off the bat, we'll just call it 1985, a year. From me being a nerd, I love the Back to the Future movies, and I figured I'm just gonna call it 1985 for now. But as the music got recorded, we got Greg Garcia on the bass on it. After me and Ryan were done with guitars and drums, the bass that was added to it, and then later on with Anthony adding all the cosmic ambiance in the song. I told Adam it'd be sweet if we keep the name 1985 based on Back to the Future and make the song kind of about that, like yes, there's Easter eggs in the song about the movie Back to the Future, but it's really not about that. It's pretty much just about maybe past regrets or stuff that you think about that we can all relate to in the past where stuff that we wish we could have changed. And if we could change anything in the past, what better way to do it than with a DeLorean, right? Based in the movies. So yeah, talking about past regrets and stuff that we would change or stuff that we possibly wouldn't change and just leave alone for the better being. And I'm glad that Adam stuck with that theme. So we've got our Back to the Future song for sure right there, plus the back notes about the stuff that we can relate to. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, we really didn't know what to like do with it at first, but then after like I don't know, but after like a couple of days, months, weeks, we knew what to do with it and we knew what to call it.
We ultimately love the way it came out. It's we recorded our first single that they're both on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, most of the streaming platforms. You can find both our songs. Glow, Ryan's song, our first single, and then 1985. But what I meant to say was for both those songs for sure, we're super proud of the way they came out in the end with all the magic that Tony worked on with them at Darkside Studios. They sound great. We love them. What are you doing, dude?
Oh, it's because it keeps on falling down.
Okay, let me turn it up real quick. You
It's
guys talk
better.
directly into it.
That's better.
Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. First time around messing with this stuff, so getting everything buttoned up. So real quick, I do want to talk about why we're doing a podcast. So far, the plan is I'm going to have my own show. Ryan wants to have a little show of his own too, and we want to branch out and do several different things. I've been wanting to podcast for a while, inspired by friends of mine that used to do it. I've got another friend that currently does it too. This is something I always wanted to dip my toes into, and we're finally starting, and eventually we want to do a whole lot of interviews and talk to different people. I mean, I've got friends that are stand-up comics here in town that I'd love to interview and talk to, get a few laughs out of them. Uh, Obviously, we know a bunch of friends that are musicians. I'll talk to my friends in those bands, and maybe I can make other connections through friends of theirs too, interview more people. And one of the things I'd been thinking about, and it was awesome that my brother Ruben brought it up too, was the way our friends and I talk all the time. It's always funny, it's always hilarious. And I've often wondered what it would be like to have my friends over and just talk shit, just casual conversation, and the way everything turns into an insult or a joke towards everybody and each other. It's just always a good time and a bunch of good laughs. So look forward to recording stuff like that too, and talking football, talking all sorts of sports that we're into, whatever, mostly football. Maybe even reviewing restaurants, the local restaurants that we have here. Talk about what we like, what we don't like. Um, Once Ryan gets his podcast, what do you want to do, bud?
All I want to do is just like pretty much talk about sports, restaurants like you do, interview my friends.
Video game reviews?
Yeah, video game reviews too. Um, Also if there's any like I don't know like if there's like more like TV shows that like I would like to review those too. But
Even movies?
yeah, movies too. But the main reason why I got into like wanting to do a podcast is because as I was growing up, my dad, like when I'm in the car with him, sometimes he's listening to something like Joe Rogan, any type of podcast, and
Felipe
that's
Esparza?
Felipe Esparza, The Fighter and the Kid, um, What's Up Fool, and
A bunch of comedians, mostly.
yeah, a bunch, and that's what got me into podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I want to do podcasts too is it's what kept me awake with all my traveling for work. I do work for the railroad. I might have mentioned that earlier. I can't remember. But I've had to travel all over Texas, up to Oklahoma City, up to Kansas City, driving here and there and to and from, all over New Mexico. And more often than not, yes, music keeps me alive, but sometimes the laughs keep, not alive, awake is what I meant to say. But music does keep me awake. But more often than not, it's the laughs, listening to these comedy podcasts with all my favorite comedians. And I guess I'm clever enough to consider myself funny for sure, but I like to do that too, get my listeners and hopefully get a few laughs out of you guys. And what else, Ryan? What have you got to say?
I mean, I don't got anything. Maybe if I want to if we do another episode where my podcast is already out, then maybe give myself a shout out.
And for sure, once my podcast is up and running, I will have Ryan chime in here and there also. We've got a great father son dynamic for sure. I've got to keep them in check, right, here and there, but our father son dynamic is for sure a great one. Love my boy, everything to me. And also, real quick, again, we played 1985 at the intro to this preview. I do again want to appreciate everybody that shared the song, gave us feedback, and listened to it. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And another idea I do have is once new music comes out, I will debut it on here first before I put it on streaming platforms. And once we do open up our channel, please subscribe and like, comment, and reshare as always. Once we do have the podcast going on, I'm going to try and be consistent and release stuff on a weekly basis. If not my stuff, excuse me, for sure Ryan's. So this is our preview for now, and we appreciate you guys for listening. And we look forward to sharing our podcast with you guys.
Yeah, we really do.
So thank you guys, and we'll talk to you guys later.